Welcome to WSBU 88.3 FM, The Buzz. I'm Austin Townley, here with Ryan Lombardi, James Derrick, and Mike Corey, play-by-play ESPN. Welcome, Mike.
Hey, thanks so much. How you guys doing?
Doing good today. It's a nice day at St. Bonaventure.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I mean, see, that's the thing. People got to get up here during the spring and summertime, man. It's great. It's a great day today.
It's beautiful here.
Yeah, no, good thing you weren't here like, I don't know, like a week and a half
ago.
Yeah. 2 weeks ago. It's like, sub-zero. It's not actually, but it feels like it every time.
It's like you don't want to wake
cold.
up and then there's frost out there. You're like, what's going on today?
Mm-hmm.
Majority of the time here at Bonaventure.
It's felt like Florida weather where it's like, hot and sunny all day and then like 5 p.m. rolls around and it's thunderstorms for a few hours.
Right.
And then it's fine again. But
it's going to happen
really
today,
like
actually.
that. Yeah.
I didn't bring a jacket up here this trip.
Oh.
I don't even have a jacket. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm okay.
You might need it later. It's gonna get nasty here.
Sleeve, but yeah.
I would not do that again if that was up to you.
I'm looking at the forecast at high of 37 on Monday. So.
There we go.
Okay.
Oh, back
to
to
snow.
Yeah,
that's what we were used to. Like it was like 70 degrees here 2 weeks ago, and then it was snowing for a week.
Yeah.
And now it's hot again.
Unpredictable.
Yep.
So, Mike, you came into our class with Dr. Wilkins. If anybody listening at home knows who Dr. Wilkins is, he's a legend over here at St. Bonaventure.
Good dude.
Had a great talk. We took a lot from that. It was a lot of good points that you brought up. I wanted to touch on, for the people listening on the radio and people on YouTube as well. Can you kind of tell us your start to how you got into this field that you are in and then ended up working for ESPN?
Yeah, I mean, it was all really from the student radio and TV and newspaper back in the day when I was at UMass. That's where I got all my experience. I was very fortunate. I kind of knew I wanted to do this, for a career, from ninth grade on. So I just did everything I possibly could there to get a ton of experience. And then I was like, I'm going to take this and turn it into hopefully a play-by-play job when I get done, And so I was saying to you guys, I just made a list of all the different schools that I could potentially maybe get, a job at after graduation. And Delaware was one of the schools, and we played them in football. So I knew some people down there, and they needed a guy for doing play-by-play. So I sent all this stuff down there, all these attention-getting items, and I FedEx my demo CD and stuff to the 3 different people at the radio station. I sent everything FedEx. I'm like, I don't care what this costs. And I had these losing lottery tickets and megabucks and said, why take your chances and gamble when you can go for a sure thing? And I put my picture on there. Had a compass with a map on it with my picture from Massachusetts to Delaware. Mike Corey's the way to go. I had pizzas ordered, from this place and delivered to the radio station. Enjoy your lunch, Mike Corey. And, I just kept flooding them with a different thing every day just to kind of get their attention. And, and it worked out. And I was fortunate enough to get a job there as a 21-year-old right out of school doing play-by-play for Delaware football and basketball. And that's how I got my start.
It's an incredible story.
I really like that. Approach to grabbing people's attention, Mike Corey is the way to go with the compass and all that stuff. I have never heard that before. And especially now, I know people who have graduated and they're struggling, to find jobs or, they won't get back to me. I never see anybody here. I never get to talk to them. I feel like that is just the perfect way to go about that or creating some kind of name for yourself for people that literally don't know you.
Yeah, no, thanks. I mean, that's why I bring that up, because it's basically it's you're standing out. You're setting yourself apart from everybody else who's doing the same thing. Emailing, going on to the LinkedIn, whatever the heck it is. I mean, it's just, you got to be different. You know what I mean? And so that really helped me, and that made a big impression. But the same thing applies today. If you guys can, send them package. Nobody's getting mail. You know what I mean? Send a video of yourself. Show your personality. Right now all we're seeing is the resume or the picture. It's send a video, send a package, have somebody call on your behalf. Tell them you're in the area. You'd love to show up for just 10 minutes and shake their hand, even though you're not going to be there. But if they say, hey, I'm available, then you are there. Then you just go. That's the kind of stuff that people want to see. Oh, this guy's really, or the girl is really stepping up over everybody else and wants this. And then the other thing I said, as you guys know from class, is you got to tell them what you're going to do for them. Don't be like, hey, this is really cool for me, and I just need this entry-level position, or it'd be really great to work for you guys. No. They're hiring you for a reason. So what are you giving them? So if you have that approach, it's then you're not going to sit back and hear that line like you just said, oh, I didn't hear back. I hate when people say that. You got to make the effort. They're not going to call you back sometimes. I mean, they're busy, So.
Yeah. there's a couple things. You had some lessons, throughout the class, and I wanted to jot them down because you had good stories to go along with them. And you can tell the same story, you can tell a different story, whatever comes to mind. But I want to read, a couple of the lessons that I got, and just kind of get the first story that comes to mind for you. Different from the golden rule, right? Treat people the way they want to be treated, as opposed to
how you want to be
how
treated.
you want to be treated.
It's a big one. My sister-in-law Kim, she's a psychologist. She works with the veterans, and she told me that she was like, Mike, I kind of subscribe to the platinum rule, and I was like, oh, what's the platinum rule? Because everybody knows the golden rule, and then she's like, the platinum rule is treat others how they want to be treated, and I'm like, okay, and then it's like it makes so much more sense because not everybody wants what you want. Not everybody,
right,
has the same wants and needs. Like if you're having a bad day or you're at work, and some people, everybody has different personalities, right? So it's like, and I always try to combine that with my wife saying, which is, she's right too, very much so, is know your audience. So if you know your audience and then you combine working and learning on what they want, you're going to be in way better position because now you know what makes, Ryan tick, or now you know what, this person needs. It's not about you. It's about them. It's kind of what I just said about the job thing. It's not about what you want. It's what they want. What do they need? What are you going to provide for them? So I do try to think about that a lot. And in relationships, it's super important, right? I mean, it's very, very important to understand what the other person is looking for. So yeah, that's a big one. And I really appreciate her bringing that up. And I try to pass that on as much as I can. And remember, nothing's 100%. Like nothing you do, I don't want to hear it. You're just trying to flip the percentages. You're just trying to be 80, 90% better in all areas that you can be in, as opposed to the other way around. So that's a good one. Thanks.
Yeah, I've got a couple more. Next, do less better.
We're always trying to do more. Think about it. It's like, I got to do more. I got to do more. I got to do this. I got to be this. I got to be that. At some point, someday, I heard that phrase. It was at ESPN. One of our bosses is like, just do less better, because everybody was trying to do too much on the broadcast. Think about this. You guys too. When you're doing radio, TV, whatever, has anybody ever said, nobody's ever going to tell you that you didn't talk enough, but they will tell you that you talk too much. How many times do you hear that? This guy doesn't shut up. He keeps speaking. He's talking. He's always talking. He's talking too much. Your analyst, this guy likes to talk. Nobody's ever been like, geez, I wish Mike Corey told me some more information, or I don't think he really seemed like he knew what he was doing. He didn't really give us a lot today. Look, most people just want to watch the game, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So the do less better is, can I do 2 or 3 things really well and be proficient at that? Or do I want to be that person? When you hear jack of all trades, master of none, doesn't mean don't be flexible or don't be able to do other sports or other things. But if you do that, you could get stretched too thin, and then every one of those areas suffers, and it's mediocre. So I'd rather be like, hey, we're on the air. We're going to do 3 great stories today. I'm going to know these stories, going to plan them out. We're going to get them done, and we're going to dominate it, as opposed to have something on everybody, which you're not going to have. And you're not even going to be able to use it all either, So
yeah, I do want to touch on that. What you just said, nobody talks about oh, he didn't talk as much,
right?
And it's funny because when we were at Radio Row for the Super Bowl, I had this man approach me. He was older, and he was somebody's agent, and he didn't have a card or anything, so I never got his name. But he just kind of came up to our booth, and he was like, there's one thing that I could give the best advice to anybody, and it's talk less.
Yeah.
So you saying that too, hearing that again reiterated to me, it's okay, yeah, that must be true because nobody does, complain about somebody not talking as much, and sometimes information can be overwhelming and thrown at you a lot at once. So that's good.
It is. We talked to our analysts and my friends about this. It's you can't bring up 5 points, during the play. Oh, he did this, he did this, he did that, and then it doesn't resonate. You're lost. If you said one thing and put an exclamation point on it, and let it sit for a second, then you kind of take it in.
I really liked what you said when it was find the best 3 stories, and it's almost like quality over quantity. Instead of, you have 8 stories, find the best 3 that you could really articulate the main point across. Maybe it's 6 stories total for the game, but find the best ones to really harp on.
Yeah, and they'll just do it to do it. Like, I mean, I know sometimes there's not a lot of information on certain people, but it's like, I don't really care that their favorite food is pizza or their favorite player is LeBron James. Like, that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? That's just dumb. That's just like, oh, I just want to say something. Well, then don't say anything there. You know, like either we go and we talk to the guy and we get a better story, we find out what really makes him tick. But I'd rather, like, if it doesn't mean anything to you, then it really doesn't mean anything else to anybody else, you know? So try to be a little bit more detailed if you are working on that.
Yeah. And then lastly here, when things don't go your way, don't be, well, I can't say this. When things don't go your way, don't be rude. I like you had a good story with Dickie V and covering a Dayton game.
That one was the, it's just like understanding where and when to like either say something or not say something. And again, this applies to life. You know, somebody says something, you know, nasty to you, or you get an email and you want to lash back and you want to go after it. Again, I'm not perfect, you know, and a lot of it comes from relationships, you know, with the boyfriend, girlfriend, wife, husband, whatever. Hey, do I need to react like that? Do I have to be like, what the heck, man? Or do I just take a moment and be like, all right, well, we'll see what happens here, you know. And so what happened was I was on all the Friday night basketball games, which I've been on, and Dayton was having like a #1 ranked season that year in COVID. Remember, they ended up 29-2, and the season got shut down.
Obi Toppin.
Yeah, Obi Toppin. I know. Obi Toppin's awesome.
Good.
He was great.
Yeah.
And so I was going back there on a Friday night, and my boss sent me an email. He's like, Mike, I know you've been doing the games, and you're on all those, but we got to take that one back. Dickie V wants to do this game. He's got some message or things he wants to go over, whatever, and they put a different crew on it. And I was like, I was disappointed, obviously, but I was like, I just wrote back. I'm like, okay, sounds good, no worries. And, you know, he wrote back, hey, Mike, thanks so much for your understanding. Okay. Yelling or writing a nasty email to my boss, by the way, for the basketball, was that going to do anything? No. Was he going to change his thing? No. Is Dickie V still going to do the game? Yeah. So it just would have made me look bad. So I just say, okay, all good. I totally get it. And then, like 2 days later, because he probably was like, "Oh man, Mike was cool about this," or maybe I got Dickie V's game, the one he originally had, but he was like, "Hey, how about Florida, Tennessee?" I'm like, "Yes, that'd be great. I'll do Florida, Tennessee. I've never been there." Rick Barnes was more than generous to us. I mean, he let us come to the shoot around, the practice. We sat in on the film session. He invited us to dinner with the team. We had like filet mignon and chicken and steak. We're hanging out on the couches, playing video games with the guys. I'm like, what a great experience. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes it ends up working out better. And I'll give you this one to add on to that, which I really like, is that, you know, sometimes you don't recognize it at first and you think like, oh, this stinks. And, you know, like embrace the uncertainty. Like, think about that for a sec. Everybody's like, when you're not sure, you're not in control, what do we immediately do? We're like, oh, this sucks. This is going to be terrible. Or God forbid you get fired from your job. Like, or you don't know what you're going to do next after graduation. It's like, hey man, why does it have to suck? Why does it have to be bad? How about it could be better? You know what I mean? Like, let's embrace the uncertainty. Like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen here, but it doesn't mean it's going to be bad. Hey, how about it could be even better? Like, right? Oh, I didn't get this game or I didn't get this opportunity. It's like, hey, maybe because you're still working on it and growing and you're going to get a better opportunity or you're going to get a better position or you didn't get that job and you want to be like, this sucks. And, you know, I don't know what the hell's going to happen, but wait a minute. Why does it have to be bad? So, like, if you can get your mind on uncertainty and things I don't really understand or I don't know what's going to happen, but position yourself in your mind like, I don't know what's going to happen, but it's going to be good. I think we're going to do good. I'm going to get a great job out of school. I'm going to work my butt off here. It's going to get better. That's my mindset. And I know it's easier said than done, but if it's in your mind all the time, that's what's coming up. Not, this sucks, and then this happened, and then this happened. You know those type of people. Mm-hmm. You gotta somehow break out of it because that's what's going to happen if you act like that way. You know?
Yeah. You know, it's always nice to get inside your mindset on those kinds of things. You know, a mindset of a professional. You know, who's been there, done that more often than not. But I kind of want to touch on, you know, some of the other really cool stuff that you've done. Right. So you graduated from UMass 1999. You were there when they went to the Final Four. I mean, as a freshman, you were there, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, come on, those are like foundational memories that I'm sure you still hold. Do you remember? What was it Elite Eight or
Final Four with Marcus Camby?
The A10 championship you went to, you said, right?
Yeah, came down to Philadelphia.
What do you have any memories from that whole process, that experience, just being a freshman, going down there and enjoying that?
Yeah, that was awesome. I mean, I was immediately at the student radio and newspaper when I first got to school. I remember this. I think I ended up with like a 2.4 the first semester, and I go home and my mom's like, she looks at it, she goes, all right, what happened? And I'm like, well, Mom, I spent a lot of time on the radio, the newspaper. I'm like, and then every semester I went up from there. I think I ended up with like a 3.9 my final one. But it's like, but it was all about, it was all about getting the experience, So I remember some people came up to me. They're like, hey, what year are you? Are you a senior? I'm like, no, I'm a freshman. They're like, freshman? It's because I was like, I went right through the training at the station.
Yeah.
I got certified. I did all this work. I took every opportunity and advantage. And then they wanted me to come with 4 seniors down to Philadelphia to cover the A10 championship, which ended up being UMass's 5th in a row. And I wrote some articles to the paper and get on the air a little bit. And, it was awesome. I mean, that's the mecca, right, of how far that team has gotten. To be able to do it in my freshman year, yeah, we got a little spoiled for sure. But it shows what it was like and how professional you needed to be. Like, we came in, you needed your pass, couldn't just walk into the Mullen Center, going to meet up with Coach Calipari. I mean, how cool was that? Scheduling interviews. Marcus Camby I saw on campus one time. I'll never forget this before the season started. It's like October. And I was like, oh my God, it's Marcus Camby. I'm like, hey, Marcus. And he stopped to talk to me. He's like, hey, what's up, man? I'm like, oh, not too much. I'm like, how's it going? Yeah, you guys getting ready for the year? He's like, yeah, man. He's like, it's going great. He's like, in fact, we're playing a pickup game tonight down at Southwest. Like, you should come. And I'm like, oh, okay, great. Yeah, sounds good. I'm like, I ran back to my place. I told my friends, I'm like, I just saw Marcus Camby. I'm like, we got to go. He's told us he's playing a pickup game at Southwest. We got to go check it out. We're going to play in the game with Marcus. I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right. So like a bunch of us go down there. There's this outdoor court, like right outside the biggest living area at UMass, where there's like 5,000 people, and it's like 8 people deep. And I walk up, and I'm like, and the first thing I see is Marcus catches the ball like just inside the foul line, jumps and like dunks it home, and everybody's going nuts. And I'm like, and I go to this guy, I'm like, how do you get in a game like this? He's like, yeah, you got to know somebody. And I'm like, all right, I guess we're not playing tonight. And I was like, at least I could like watch this. But it was just such an awesome experience. And we learned a lot. The biggest lesson was the whole motto from the team, refuse to lose, which I try to take with me today, right? It doesn't mean go overboard, but it's like do everything you possibly can to make it happen, not take a no for an answer. I'm not, stepping back and be like, oh, well, I guess it wasn't going to work out. Like, no. We're doing everything we can to be successful, to rise above. They didn't win the championship that year. Probably a better lesson there, just being like, there's still more to be had in life.
That's awesome. It's like seeing like, I just can't fathom that you an NBA legend went to your school when you did, and you like, he was like, "What's up, dude?" Like that's so chill.
My first game, I got to do stats because there was a hierarchy on the radio.
Yeah.
We had an engineer, you had to do stats, and you got to do color, then play-by-play. So my first time doing stats was at UMass Wake Forest, Marcus Camby versus Tim Duncan at the Mullen Center.
Wow.
I mean, the teams they played back then, it was pretty incredible. I mean, I'll never forget that one.
I want to fast forward now, talk about a few years ago. You're doing the NIT championship in Indianapolis, Seton Hall, Indiana State, two teams that should have gotten into the tournament, but because of bid steals, ended up not. And, got to the NIT championship. How cool is that, especially now with where some of those players that played in the game are kind of out now?
Yeah, it was incredible. I mean, that was just like an awesome time because, number one, I'm from New England, and I'm a huge Boston fan. So, and Larry Bird is my favorite player of all time, growing up. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm going to Indiana State, with Larry Bird. He's got a statue out there. The team was rocking. The place was like sold out. I'm like, I got like chills kind of being there, being like, man, this is pretty impressive. I always kind of wanted to go out to that area where he played, and Terre Haute, and got to do that game there. And Josh Schertz, who we know now is at St. Louis, and the players that he had there, and then he brought with him, and he was great. I mean, I got to know him, and that's what I love. Is meeting new coaches, players, all these relationships that we talked about in class is the most important thing. But that was a special run, and then we went to Hinkle Fieldhouse in Indianapolis for the finals, and that place is sold out because they brought all their fans there. And I was like, it was an amazing game, and to be able to do a championship, like that for a couple of years in a row was really special. Yeah, it was fun.
How did that championship end? It was Seton Hall.
Seton Hall won. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're excited about
That's-
Seton Hall.
He
Yeah,
loves
that's your
he
guy. Okay.
loves Seton Hall.
It was a lot of like my dad graduated from
Yeah.
Seton Hall. Grew
Oh,
up going
cool.
to Seton Hall games. But it was like Seton Hall or St. Bonaventure.
Yep.
I chose St. Bonaventure.
That's
It
great.
was the right choice, but
He came here but made us watch all the games with him.
Yeah,
I used to
that's
live with
awesome.
Ryan actually.
I still
so
have a
we-
very soft spot
Yeah.
Oh, good.
for Seton Hall, and it was
Yeah.
very cool. And you were on the game, so that
Yeah.
made it even better.
Yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
I think like
Yeah.
Trey Davis hit the game winner. I
That's
don't
right.
know. It was like a crazy comeback, like with like no time left. I don't even know.
So kind of, focusing on the college basketball world a little bit. You are making a documentary that you're working on for 6 to 7 years, you
Yeah.
said. Do you want to talk about that? It's called Lightning in a Bottle, I think I
Yeah.
saw when you showed in class. Just kind of tell us about, the process behind that and what sparked that idea to make the documentary.
Yeah, that was with me and one of my best friends, Brad Davidson, who was the general manager of the student radio when I got to UMass. He was a couple years older than me, and I came in as a freshman, and I'm like, I met him, and he's dressed nice, and he's running the station, and he's got all these contacts and what they used to have like a Rolodex where you had to put all your business cards in there, and I'm like, man, this guy is cool. I'm like, he knows what's up. I'm like, I got to get to know him. I got to do a good job here, and we treated the whole thing like as a professional, radio station, and we did. We did the games. We had a great time. We learned a lot, and I stayed in contact with him. And then you fast forward years later. I mean, we connected at times throughout our lives. Like he lived in New York, and I went and visited him, and in Boston, I went and hung out with him there. We went to a Patriots game together. We did, we didn't talk all the time, but it was like I knew. I'm like, this guy's awesome, and he was in the whole music industry, and I was in the sports. And then things changed, and he ended up with like a management company that he was doing, and he represents the actor David Duchovny from the X-Files and Californication.
Oh, okay.
And I'm doing what I'm doing. And he goes to me one day, he's like, man, we got to do a documentary on UMass basketball. He's like, we got to put something together on this. He's like, this story, it's like, it needs to be told. I'm like, no, you're right. And this is like 2016. And I have the notes from it. I went and researched it. I put a little outline together. I did some stuff. We Zoomed. We talked about it. And then, of course, you're busy. Everybody's busy. And we were just like, okay. And then it just went by the wayside. Well, COVID happens in 2020, and nobody's doing anything. And we got reconnected. And I was like, he goes, hey, we should start talking about this talk. I'm like, yeah, no, we should. And we Zoomed like every week, like talking about it, coming up with a plan. And then we just both were like, all right, we got to do this. Like, we're doing this. And we got to UMass. We went and got some footage. We laid it out. We talked to people. And then they brought the whole team back in 2021 to induct them into the UMass Athletics Hall of Fame. And that's where we scraped up all this money. Excuse me. We figured it out. University helped us. And we brought a whole camera crew in there and everything. And we interviewed the entire team. We had Canby, Cal, Bruiser, Lou Rowe, Dr. J was there. I mean, and I was fortunate. I got to MC the statue ceremony where they put up statues
Oh, sweet.
of Cal, Canby, Dr. J, and former coach Jack Lehman. Then they had the dinner. We filmed all that. Cal went to the old Curry Hicks cage where they played, and we filmed him walking through there and everything. We had all this great stuff. And then we turned it into that little 2-minute sizzle reel that you saw that's online. And that's what we've been using to help get investors, and we've got money. We've raised over $500,000, and the movie is probably a couple months away from being, edited. I don't want to speak because of the time frame, because I've learned that as
Editing
we're
is
into
a
year
big
6
process,
now.
yeah.
But at some point, it's going to get sold, and we're hoping, it'll be on Netflix. But I mean, it's been a unbelievable passion project and something I've enjoyed every single step of the way, and have learned a ton from my friend Brad, and he's just been so awesome to work with, helping me personally, professionally. And that's what I tried to say to you guys about enjoying the journey, especially at something like this, which you don't know how and long and where it's going to end up. But it's not like, oh, I'll be great and happy when this is done. No, I'm enjoying every single step, and it's going to be even more phenomenal when it is done. But don't go years of your life and then look back and go, oh, geez, why was I so uptight? Or why could I have been more understanding? Or why don't I just enjoy that more? And I've done that before, you know what I mean? That's why, again, easier said than done. But if I can pass on that info now and you guys could take that under advisement, better than when you're 30, 40, or 50 years old.
Doesn't mean that much more to you that you're working on this with one of your closest friends.
Yeah. Well, we saved everything. Like, we had all of our press passes, all these pictures. Brad had like video
That's
of
awesome.
him in his old apartment. I mean, it was incredible that I do feel like we are the two best people to tell this story from everything that we did. We have audio clips from the games. We have the Collegian, the article, the student newspaper. He literally wrote an article in there that said, this needs to be made into a movie literally that season after it happened.
crazy.
He was like, and then he went through and he's like, we could have this person as the actor, this and that. He goes, not some little rinky dink thing, a big feature film on the screen, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it was like a couple years into our process, and we were going through all of our old articles, and he found this, and he's like, Mike, call me up. It was like midnight. He called me up, and I'm like, dude, this is unbelievable. Like, that's how we're starting the film. You know what I mean? But that's his story. He literally said that our freshman year, my freshman year, the Final Four year after it happened, and now we're turning it into a movie. Yeah.
That's insane how life just comes full circle.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Like, because you had no thoughts of
Right.
this when you were doing that back in your freshman
Right.
year.
He was just saying stuff, and this should be this, and now here we are doing it. So
It's amazing.
that was pretty cool.
So, you've talked to, of course, probably a lot of people over the course of making that documentary. Can you give us any kind of snippet, like who had a really good story about this, that, or another thing, or, maybe not,
Yeah, no, I mean, I could tell you about some of the people that are going to
Sure.
be in it because, we've always maintained from the beginning that, and Brad's absolutely right. He said, if it's great, you have a chance. If it's not great, you have no chance, because who's Mike and Brad, making this movie? I mean, we're not Steven Spielberg, so it's got to be unbelievably awesome, to have a chance and say, hey, this needs to be on Netflix or whatever. And so we have, interviews with Cal, Canby, Lou Rowe, Dr. J. We interviewed Allen Iverson, who they beat against Georgetown, going to the Final Four.
That's cool.
And we went all the way down to Hampton, Virginia, where he has this like basketball tournament. We staked it out, and we got him in there, and we interviewed him for like a half an hour.
Nice.
Brad is phenomenal. This is where that refuse to lose and just getting stuff done. Probably one of his best, jobs at this in his life. He worked at it for a couple of years, and he ended up getting President Clinton on an interview because President Clinton spoke to the team after a game at George Washington where he was there watching the year before they went to the Final Four. All the players talked about it. It was great. We got all this footage and clips. And so he went up to Harlem, New York, and did a half-an-hour interview with President Bill Clinton, which is incredible, and that's going to be in the film.
Wow.
And one of our other players on the team, Edgar Padilla, him and his brother from Puerto Rico. Their parents are deaf. Their sister, they all came up here, took a chance. There's a story of the Final Four where Goodell gets in. He doesn't play a lot, and he's signing to his parents. And we went down to Puerto Rico. We interviewed them. We got a bunch of footage. And Edgar now is the GM of this professional team in Puerto Rico, owned by Bad Bunny,
No.
which is
Oh,
out
no
of
way.
control. So we're gonna, hopefully get some clips from that when here for him hiring Edgar. So there's a lot of people involved. It went from nothing to number one. It's a national story. They're on Good Morning America. They're on ESPN. All these announcers are talking about it. So this is going to be right there in line with all the other sports docs, I feel like. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to it, and we're putting everything we possibly can into it to say, hey, this deserves to be on the air in a good way. And I think we're going to hit a lot of audiences because it's how did this help the school? How did it affect the African-American community, the Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, enrollment, merchandise, sales, everything that it did for the University of Massachusetts? Like, it's going to be nice. It's going to be special. And I think a lot of people will relate because me and Brad walk you through it. We're filmed in the movie. Like, we're kind of the narrators of the story. So it's not like, this voice guy where it's like, oh, then you must beat so-and-so. Like, no, we're not doing that. We're there. We're talking to people. We're at the old pizza place. We're at the radio station. We're at the Collegian. We're in the old Cage. We're in the Mullins Center. We're in downtown Amherst. We got shots and footage from everything. I mean, I think it's going to be pretty special.
I mean, you're hitting the Denny Wilkins special of hitting every plot of why should I care? I mean, I watched that little short clip that you showed us, and I was interested, but now I'm invested. I hope everybody's taking notes on how to sell something right here, guys. Like this is how this sounds amazing, and I'm definitely going to be tuning in when this does come out. But again, I want to touch on like how did you balance your life outside of work? Because I know you mentioned you have a wife in class and you take notes on your phone
Yeah.
about everything she says or has ever said to you, so you know. Kind of take us through the process on how you stayed in touch with your personal life outside of work.
Yeah, I mean, I think initially it's like you're really engrossed in your career, and I went crazy on just broadcasting and watching all my games back and listening and trying to be the best that I can be. And I had some girlfriends over the years, and then it really was later in life that I ended up meeting my now wife, and it was like I don't know, 2014 at this point. So it's been about 12 years. Got married in 2017. Have a 7.5-year-old daughter, and it's been great. I mean, and it actually it definitely changes, right? I think my brother would always tell me, is like, we expand to fill our space, So when I'm young and there's nothing, I'm going to put all my work into the game, or I'm going to do all this for this. And that's what I said about over preparing. Like, I think I did too much, but you had all this time. So you're like, oh, why not? It's like, well, maybe it would have been better just to be more flexible and easy back then, but you don't know any better, So now it comes time for this. And I want to spend as much time as I can at home with the family. Really try to be present, not on my phone all the time. And it's hard because this isn't a profession where, no offense to anybody if they work at like Home Depot, I'm just making this up. Like, you work from 9 to 5, you clock in, you're out. When you're not working, you're not working. That's not really my life. You know what I mean? I can field calls, questions, comments, emails all day, all night if I needed to or wanted to. I could always do more work. I can always do more prep. I could always make another call. Like, you know what I mean? So like at some point you got to give yourself permission to take a break, and I do that now. Now I'll watch TV with my wife at night. I'll chill out. I'm shutting it down. I'm not doing work till 11 o'clock at night. I mean, you grow over time, and then you realize you're better, you're fresher. You're not having any issues there because you do spend the time you can with them. I try to go see my friends when I can. I try to stay in contact with my family, talk to my mom almost like every day. I mean, there is a balance. I know everybody's always trying to achieve balance. It's never going to be like perfect. You're going to go off. One week I didn't get a chance to work out at all. One time I worked out 5 days. I mean, we're all just trying to get into the happy medium. But I would say Brad always told me, he's like, you chase happiness. You don't chase money. And then you be there for your family and your friends. And again, I'm still working on it. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, it isn't. And you learn a lot along the way, but being open to it, I think if you're open to change and being better, then that's number one, so I always appreciate that. And I'm proud of that. Doesn't mean I'm, like I said, perfect, but I always want to be better,
Yeah. Well, I mean, you've got work, you've got family, all sorts of things, but I mean, you're a sports fan too. How is it all New England area sports? I mean, can I get a gist of all the teams you like? Just run through.
Please don't say Celtics.
I'm sorry, it is. It's all Boston. I grew up in Brattleboro, Vermont, a little small town at the bottom of the state, and we were. I went to Red Sox games as a kid with my dad and mom and brothers, and big Celtics fan. Went to saw Larry Bird back when he played at the old Boston Garden. Yeah, it was so special. Bruins, I cheer for the Bruins, but then the Patriots, a huge Patriots fan. I mean, listen, they stunk, right? I mean, I went back there. I used to go to games with my friend all the time, like in the late 80s, early 90s. We'd drive to Foxborough. They were terrible. I had this crappy little stadium, you know what I mean? And I was like, this sucks, but they got so good. Obviously, we know the story now, but it's like, I've always been a Patriots fan, and been very spoiled with all those teams because they've all won. But I love it. I mean, I'm not going to go home every night though and watch a lot of games because I do them, so sometimes I don't want to watch a lot, and I'm not like everybody else where they're on their phone or they keep up with every single thing. Like, I got a couple friends of mine that'll hit me up and be like, hey, I know you don't see this, but this is what happened here. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. So at least I'm up to speed,
Yeah. I mean, and what was it last night that the Sixers won that play-in game? They're going to be playing the Celtics. How do you feel about that series? You got Sixers Celtics 2-7 there.
I know. I'm gonna have to try to get to some games. I live outside of Philadelphia there,
Yeah,
I mean, well, first off, I'm just super impressed that like Tatum came back from that injury.
Unbelievable.
I mean, you got to be kidding me.
It's unheard of.
Like,
That's incredible.
That is so ridiculous. When I heard it, I was, again, I'm not a diehard like I used to be. Like, I'm not following every single game, whatever. And then I'm reading something. I'm like, oh, Tatum makes his return. I'm like, wait, what are we talking about here? He's coming back? I'm like, I was almost thinking like,
Yeah.
hey, tank this season, get an awesome pick, and now you got Tatum Brown on like a number 5 pick or something.
Yeah.
Imagine setting yourself up for even further down the road. But I was like, those guys are so young still. They're like 29 years old. But, I mean, they get a legitimate chance. I mean, there's good teams out there. I mean, the OKC, I think. But they came back to reality a little bit. I thought they were going to go like, 80-2 at the start of the season. But,
the comeback to reality it hit hard for Oklahoma City. They were rolling for a minute.
They
and
were.
They just kind of felt little dip, but
the Celtics, though, it's like, I got to look at it. I mean, this is like the 9th year, I think, almost 9 or 10 years with Brown and Tatum. If you look it up, it's like they got one championship. I'm not saying that's not great, and they haven't had opportunities. They've been in the finals, but I'm like, geez, I mean, it shows you a lot of good teams. Because like you don't get those two often. I'm never going to go any higher than Larry Bird, Kevin McHale, and Robert Parrish, but I mean, they won 3, you know what I mean? And then you had to deal with Magic Johnson and all that, so they probably would have had more. I got to see a few more titles, I hope, with this group, if they're there for like 20 years. It's like,
it's a special core. They've never missed the playoffs with each other.
Yeah, that's good too. And yeah.
I mean, it's kind of poetic because they're playing the Sixers in the first round, but that's when Tatum made his return, was against the Sixers.
Yes.
So I'm excited. I think it's going to be kind of a bloodbath. I think Boston's going to kind of tear Philly apart.
Dude, poor Joel Embiid's got appendicitis.
He's just
I
going to
know.
sit
I
there
know.
and
Playing for a
watch.
couple
I feel
days.
bad for Joel.
Yeah. They've always had something going on there in Philly, I feel like, right?
Unfortunately, yeah. They've never been
They've
able
had
to
good
just
players, so.
put the best foot forward, I feel like, for an entire season. It's just been impossible.
If Kawhi didn't hit that shot at
years ago.
2019 when they
gosh.
won, I mean, the Sixers should have won that series.
No,
that
is
was
true.
That was
yeah.
crazy, that Kawhi shot. But yeah, I mean, Boston, they definitely have a chance to come out of the East. I'm liking Detroit or Cleveland right now, but Boston, if Tatum keeps doing what he has been doing, with just rebounding the basketball and doing his part, and then having Jaylen Brown kind of take over, but.
Yeah, I'm not as worried about the East there. It's more about getting to, whoever is out of the West, if you can get to the finals. We'll
I don't
see.
think anybody's beating anybody in the West.
Yeah.
OKC, San Antonio, Denver. It's tough.
Yeah.
He's an LA guy. I don't know why. They have no chance, man. Lakers got no chance.
LeBron James will put the Lakers on his back.
He's 41 years old.
And 41 years old and can do it.
You think he's
gonna get it
LeBron
done.
can do that?
Is that guy sick or what? I mean, seriously. He looks like he's 22 still, doesn't he?
It's incredible.
His body.
It's crazy.
Look, that's like it's on one hand of like even like say musicians, that have been doing this for like they're 80 years old up on stage. It's like I don't know, Rolling Stones and Bruce Springsteen and people like that. Like that's another level. Like that's just like I call it an extreme example. I love it. They're like, hey, Tom Brady was drafted in the 6th round. You could do it too. I was like, like, best quarterback of all time. It's an extreme example. It's like nobody looks and has stayed as healthy and as LeBron James. Like just the way he is. Like I don't even want to play him now. You're right. He's 41. It's like, kidding me? He's a freight train.
Yeah.
I mean, he actually has this season. He has more dunks than he had in the 2018 season, which is some consider his best season ever.
Right? Like what is that?
He's 41 years old.
I mean, his longevity is insane. I mean, we haven't lived a day in our lives that LeBron James isn't an NBA basketball player.
Oh, that's fun. Oh my gosh.
That is a crazy
Before
thought.
Is
we
that
were all
crazy?
born, he started playing.
Yeah, you weren't even
crazy
watching
thought.
it. He was playing, and then now you're like, yeah.
crazy.
I mean, I'm 21. There's got to be 23-year-olds that have never lived a day in their life without LeBron James.
Well, when you
in the
guys
NBA.
get to my age or whatever, and then you start doing games, and then you start seeing juniors out there, from people like so and so junior, and I'm like, what the heck is this? I'm like, how long have I been doing this? But then I'm like, well. Yeah, he could have had a kid, I guess, when he was 22 or 23, and then 18 years later, here we are.
Makes
I'm
sense,
like,
yeah.
okay, he's a freshman. I'm like, but it's a little scary,
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll be out there seeing Deuce Tatum play for the Boston.
right?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
what's going on?
Switching gears kind of back to the broadcasting thing. Are there broadcasters you look up to? And if you had to make like your Mount Rushmore of broadcasters, who would they
Man.
be?
Oh, God, I'm on the spot here. Well, my favorite of all time is Marv Albert, because I grew up watching, NBA, NBC, TNT, all that stuff. We'd have, games weren't on. I mean, there was a certain amount of games that were on. I had to look at the national schedule and oh, this game's on TBS, this is on TNT. Celtics are on Friday night, and we'd watch, and it meant so much more, and that's it. There was only a few positions, right? I mean, it was like. Actually, when I graduated, I mean, there was just, ESPN, like maybe ESPN2, there's CBS, Fox, NBC. Like, there wasn't the Sports Channel, F1, all the stuff that you have now, and you guys can be on ESPN Plus doing games. It's like, so you looked up to those guys. They're all icons. He was my favorite, and basketball is my favorite. I mean, a guy like Jim Nantz too. I know I'm talking about all the top guys here, but I mean, he is for a reason. I mean, he could just go from football to basketball to golf, and I mean his Al Michaels. I mean, Al Michaels, like his broadcast style is like he's just talking to you and me right now, but it doesn't sound boring. It's still excited. He's not over the top. He's not fake. I mean, I just like. Oh, I'm like thinking, how could anybody be like that? Like, it's pretty darn good, to come across like that, without, because some guys try to force it. I try not to force it. I mean, it's going to sound me broadcasting a little different than I'm talking to you now, but I don't over accentuate it like, Lombardi knocks it down, I'm not gonna talk like that but yeah, those are some of my favorite ones. Sean McDonough, I grew up watching Sean McDonough at the Red Sox, and Chris Berman. I love Chris Berman from ESPN. Those guys, some of the pioneers of the business. I mean, there's a lot of great people. I mean, it's somewhat negligible, to be honest with you. I don't mean with those guys, but like in my level or the people that I work with, and we all. That's the business is very subjective, I mean, like Joe Buck. I mean, Joe Buck's awesome too. It's like I laugh when people are like, "Oh, he sucks." Like, no, he doesn't suck. You might just not like his style or whatever. It's like they're unbelievable. They're incredible broadcasters. They reached a certain level for a reason. I don't care how and why. It's just you got to give some respect to them, So I try to learn a little bit from those guys, not steal their stuff, but see how they do it and try to emulate a little bit of it.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned Al Michaels. I mean, we talk about LeBron being in the NBA for every day we're alive.
God,
Al Michaels has
Longevity.
been doing what he does for. I can't fathom it. I just haven't been alive that long.
Have you ever tuned into Tom Brady's broadcast? Because it's very controversial. I think he's pretty good. I like his transition from his play in the NFL and then coming into broadcast.
How could you not like it? I don't know.
A lot of people
He's gotten better.
He's gotten better.
He's gotten better. I think some people weren't ready for it, especially because Greg Olson is so good.
He almost sounds like him a little bit, doesn't he? It
yes,
sound much different actually.
Yeah,
I like Greg Olson.
I think Greg Olson is probably one of my favorite color commentators I've ever listened to, and then for him to kind of get demoted, but I think Joe Davis and Greg Olson together is better than
Kevin Burkhardt,
and Brady, but. No, I think he does a fine job, but I still think Olsen is better.
Yeah, see, here we are, though, negligible again, right? I mean, it's just kind of, but they're at the number 1, number 2 spots. But I'm with you, though. I actually really like Greg Olson. I thought, just because, you're not the number 1, 18 Super Bowl, whatever. I mean, listen, he sounds really good. He knows what he's talking about. It's an easy listen, right? I mean, it's like, and I like Joe. I knew Joe from when he was doing ESPN with us. I mean, he was doing high school football, like a lot of us were, and then now, pretty amazing for him to be okay. You're the heir to Vin Scully now, which was like, again, credit him on one hand. You can't be like, hey, what the heck. He's really good. He does a great job. But yeah, no, Brady, I think he's gotten a little bit better. I don't even know why he wanted to do this. I mean, he didn't have to do this. He could have just, done other stuff or like Peyton and Eli, those kind of things. I mean, you're not going to not be busy. Now you're just under scrutiny every single week from all the fans. Like you would have been when you were playing. It's like, why would he want to subject himself to anything else? But he's that kind of guy now. He wants to prove everybody wrong. He's going to get better. He's going to be doing this 10 years later. We're all going to be like, oh, it's Tom Brady, the announcer, and nobody's ever going to say anything about how he sounded in his first 2 years. Like it just, they're not, I mean, but hard to be critical. I mean, it's not easy, but it is what it is.
Have you yourself ever worked with a former athlete, kind of transitioning them into this field? To play
I've worked with a lot of new people over the years. I mean, I appreciate it because I think they think, hey, Michael handled this pretty well. He'll transition this guy in. He'll give him the ropes, So I look at it like it's a positive when they say, hey, you're going to be with this new guy as opposed to like the same people all the time. Although I do like that. I've worked with a lot of former players for the first time, coaches. Stan Van Gundy, I loved working with him when he transitioned out for a year. I mean, that was his first time, and great dude. And then there's been a lot of them. You know what I mean? But it's fun because you learn a lot. And then they're different now, and before they're like, oh, it's coach so-and-so. And I'm like, I'm a little like, not freaked out, but it's like, you're asking questions. And then next thing you know, they're like, hey, Mike, what's up? And it's all, it's different relationship type of thing, and
like, you got to ask a question they probably don't want to answer.
Oh,
you just
yeah.
have to ask it.
Yeah, one of my great friends in the industry that I do the Friday nights with now is Dr. John Giannini, who former coach of LaSalle. And I remember having to interview him. He was so intense and so uptight, all this stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, Dr. Giannini. And then now it's like, once I got to know him after he got done, I'm like, he's awesome. Like, he's such a fun guy to be around. Mm-hmm. We go out, we have dinners, we have drinks, we prepare for the games. He's a basketball junkie. It's like, oh man, like you didn't even know, you know what I mean? And it's like, and we have so much fun on the air. So that's what I enjoy, is getting to know people, outside of it, sometimes too.
Is there anything that you've learned from a former player or coach coming into this field that maybe you didn't think about before?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to learn a lot of X's and O's and that kind of stuff, but I mean, you can't go too crazy on it. Like, that's the thing. Like, I mean, you don't want to overshoot your audience. Not everybody is a coach or a player and knows all that stuff. So, I mean, I do make an effort, though, especially with John, to learn the game a little bit more and know what he wants to talk about, to tee him up and stuff like that. But, yeah, you don't want to go too overboard. Football, we've always felt like, I can learn more about football. It's like, yeah, but you're not going to be out there all the time being like, oh, that's a high 2-zone cover look, blah, blah, blah. Like, you can't do that. You know what I mean? So, I have learned a lot. Preparation, looking at stats, better questions, learning when to, not speak as much, letting them have their time, teeing them up on things. There's a whole art to it, and we're always still getting better.
Doing everything we do.
Yeah. I'm interested in how you got into sports, right? We have our annual Buzz basketball game coming up this weekend that
Nice.
I am excited for. Like, I am hyper competitive. I need to win.
What is this?
Saturday.
It's a station-wide basketball game where I guess not station-wide. It's in the sports department, right? Where the co-sports directors draft teams with all the staffers. And, well, I mean,
that's
I don't
awesome.
know. The teams this year are a little.
Do you need any
awesome.
NIL money for that, or you? Okay?
I was thinking about it.
We'll take donations.
Yeah, here's a $25 Dunkin' Donuts gift card.
But
that would get me in.
We've been asking a ton of people, like, how good were you in high school? Like, can you play at all? Like, we're trying to get the scouting report on a lot of people. But I mean, hey, did you play like basketball, baseball, football in high school?
Yeah,
and, how was that experience?
Yeah, I played basketball growing up. I was just on the high school team, and this is another lesson per se, I guess. I mean, I was a junior, and I was told, like, hey, man, if you want to be on the varsity, which I did, I loved it. I want to be on there. But we had all these guys, and my coach was like, well, you're going to be the 13th guy out of 13 if you want to be on. You're not really going to play. I'm like, that's okay. I just want to be a part of the team. And I did. And it was great. And then I said to myself for my senior year, I'm like, a lot of guys graduate. I'm like, no, I'm going to work my tail off. I'm going to be the best player that I can possibly be. And I went to the gym and I worked on my game. And I remember coming back for senior year and like going by one of my, teammates or, friends. And he's like, oh, geez, like, what got into Corey? I'm like, and I ended up starting, and it's just, this is high school basketball in Vermont. It's nothing crazy, It's like, and we went to lost in the quarterfinals of the tournament or something. But I mean, I did everything I could to just be the best player I could be. And, without knowing what you know now, which you never will know until later. And then I got the most improved award, and awesome. The coach was like, I don't think Mike, or he's like, I think I'd get fired if I didn't give the most improved to Mike Corey this year, after all that he did to just try to make himself the best he can be. And I wasn't the best player, but it was cool because I was like, yeah, you set your mind to it. And you're like, no, I'm not going to be this type of player. I'm going to be better. And we had fun, and I love basketball, and that's where I kind of turned broadcast into that because I was like, I'm not going to college to play. I'm not going to the NBA. And I played a little baseball up to like 8th grade, but then we played intramurals at UMass. Yeah. Obviously, the team went to the Final Four, so we were going to play there. But intramurals, and then your tournament thing reminded me of an awesome event we had. It was called Haggis Hoopla, where this place called the Haggis Mall. It was just this big area, and the Sport Management Club had a class that they would sell the advertising and set everything up in the fall, and then in the spring, all these basketball courts and hoops and everything came in, and it was the largest 3-on-3 basketball tournament in the entire awesome. New England area, and it was 4 divisions, and they had referees and music and food, and I mean, it was incredible, and it was all done through this class at sport management at UMass, and it was fun. And we played in that, Yeah, we got close. I don't think we won the whole thing, but that was pretty competitive. We had a good time there.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't know, for you guys, high school sports is like it's foundational. I feel like that's kind of where anyone who's in, I don't know, sports media, that's our major now. But I feel like that's kind of where you set, like, this is, what I want to do, and even like the work ethic, like you mentioned, like you wanted to improve from that junior to senior year, and that's kind of
Once you realize you're not going to get drafted and go pro, you're like, okay, maybe
right.
I want to work.
That's where I met some of my best friends from UMass. Is early that first semester, we went to the gym right up the street, or the hill from where we lived, and I met a bunch of my buddies.
It's kind of how James and I are like so close. Like we're actually, I've been friends with James since first grade.
Oh, that's awesome.
My best friend. I live 2 minutes away from him in Syracuse. But we always played on the basketball team together, and I didn't end up keep playing because I was doing other things. But James kept playing, and he ended up winning a state championship.
That's great.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's how I met these guys too. It was intramural basketball,
right?
and the
See,
kid who
here
lived
it
across
is.
the hall from me needed a sub, and it was for their team because he wasn't
That's
there for
right.
some reason, or maybe he wasn't there. For
I
some
was always
reason.
there for whatever.
wow.
One of
taught
them
him how to
wasn't
shoot.
there, so yeah.
Yeah. See,
I wasn't
that's
very
awesome.
good.
I
Still
taught
not.
Wombo how to shoot. It
Yeah.
went away now, but you haven't played.
But I have learned it was like one thing, like, never played basketball growing up, and, I wanted to broadcast it. And, just playing intramural basketball or listening to these guys talk about basketball taught me so much about the game that it helped me while I'm broadcasting.
Yes. No, that you have to. I mean, I think, playing it a little bit, but then I never really realized what goes into it in terms of the plays and that stuff. And, I still am not like, if I watch the practice or whatever, I could tell you exactly what they're running and what they're in. But like, that's where the coach, that's where the former broadcasters I work with come in, because they'll help me. Oh yeah, that's a ghost screen. That's a flare screen. That's this, that's that. And then I know that knowledge and I can mention it, and it adds to the broadcast. Every year I'm picking up a little bit more, again, without overshooting the audience, but it's been fun. So
even a pro still learning every day. That's good to know.
you got it.
You don't have to know everything, but
I want
got
two
one
more
more thing?
things,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
Because there's, two other Boston sports that I want to hear you talk about real quick, right? Because, Boston Red Sox season is underway. Just a couple games in, I never read too much into the first couple games of a baseball season, right? But I want to hear, your outlook for the Red Sox and, of course, the Patriots when we get to the fall there.
It's grilling you.
Yeah, well,
I just want to hear.
Let's go Red Sox. Like, I just said this to my friends the other day. It's like the season just started. Okay, I know it just started. I mean, you gotta talk about it. You're not gonna be like 6-11 or now 7-11, whatever they are. You're like, ooh, like it could be better. But I mean, let's just think about it for a second. I mean, 4 games and that's flipped, and you're like in first place or something. I mean, it's like, come on. I don't have a real critical take on it yet, because it's like I haven't even actually watched that many games, to be honest with you. But if like when I do, I can have more knowledge on the guys and this and that. But it's like they definitely should be there in the mix. But they got to figure something out with the money, because this is just dumb with the Dodgers. I mean, it's just like, it's not really. Why is there not a cap or something? I mean, it's like it's just so unfair. It's almost like the college sports now, which sucks. Like, oh, this team puts in $20 million and this guy puts in $2 million. Well, what do you think's going to happen? You're playing an all-star team.
Yeah, I did the math.
Dumb.
I did the math for Dr. Wilkins one day because I was writing a piece. The Dodgers pay more people or owe more people in deferred money
then
than
they
the
find a way
Marlins
around
currently
it.
spend
That's
on
so
their
dumb.
actual
That's
roster.
so dumb. Like that's not even. That's just finding a loophole or whatever. It's like, give me a break.
It's cheating.
Yeah, no, I don't think anybody wants it. I don't want to see them win it again.
I don't either.
No.
If we took a survey, 100 people, I bet you 95 people say they don't.
No,
agree
they
with it.
don't, because they don't. They know they just spent the money to do whatever. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The Sox. Hey, it's fun. It's baseball.
Yeah.
You enjoy the summertime. Boy, they take it so seriously up there, though. They lose like one game and they're like, ugh, going into work the next day. This sucks. It's
Cutter
like,
is
no,
king.
everything's fine. Yeah, I know. It's like, calm down, guys. And then the Patriots. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I don't want to hear anybody say that they did, because we were just like, oh, okay. We were psyched that Vrabel was back. May, everybody was real high on him. I was like, well, I got to wait and see. And then he did. He had the year that, everybody was hoping for. They brought in some other dudes. McDaniels, his offensive coordinator, just stay there, please. Stop trying to get a head coaching job somewhere else. It's like they looked pretty good. And, wow, they got to the bowl. But I'll tell you, when I saw Drake May, it was like the pregame interview before the Super Bowl. I almost kind of knew right then. I'm like, I felt bad for him, but I don't know. Maybe he was just maybe I'm reading it wrong, but they interviewed him. He was just like, Yeah, it'll be all right. It's like I could see he was like freaked out. I was just like, and I would be too, I guess, going up against the Seattle defense. So it's like they just had nothing. Like they had nothing for it, and it's not his fault. But I think they'll have another good year because now they're I'm not saying they're back, but I mean that was pretty special, and Vrabel,
They
that's
gotta
stuff he's got to deal with.
They
but-
gotta fix that Super Bowl week. I think the three of us were all there.
That's so great.
Yeah.
Tell me about that real quick. How awesome was that?
I mean, it was amazing.
Radio
but-
Row?
Fantastic.
It was incredible. I mean,
So
the
cool.
people you meet, the connections you make, it really is everything. Everybody always emphasizes, like you did in class, it's all about relationship building, making connections, asking people just like about their day or something like that.
So great.
Get their number, write the notes down.
Yeah.
It was a big learning experience for all of us, I would say.
Oh yeah, big time. And I think like the biggest thing though, I think those players are so trained when it comes game time because they are doing media availability
Yes.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Friday's the first day they don't have to do that, but then they're doing their walkthroughs and practice, and then Saturday is the day before the game, and then Sunday is game day, and they're doing more interviews on Sunday. So those players have to be so drained. It's 4 straight days of just interviews. So
It's
like
a lot. Yeah.
it's like, oh, tell me about your biggest mentor growing up. The players, they're like.
Yeah.
Like
Answer
we
that
got a
question
football to
5
play. We don't
times
want to
already.
sit here with the media.
I think they got to bang out the real prep in the first week because
Yeah.
of all that. Like you said,
Yeah.
I think there was a time where there was only 1 week in between once in a while. I think it was.
Yeah.
Like I said, it quickly went back to 2 because you can't do that or you're not even getting ready for the game. Like that's kind of ridiculous.
There's so many things going
I
on.
mean, we were trained. We just did media.
Yeah.
right?
We didn't have a full game to play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had practice. They had a game, the biggest game of their lives to
Yep.
play. And they got to
Yeah.
answer the same questions 6 days in a row.
I know, the same ones over and over. Yeah.
And then you got this like the some journalist being like, "Is this a must-win game?" Like, no,
yeah.
no,
yeah.
it's not. Yeah.
No yes or no questions, guys. Okay? or dumb yes or no questions too.
We've
Actually,
heard that question. Is this a must-win game? Like, way too many times.
what are
Yeah.
you talking
What do you-
about?
What do you think? Would you
Really?
would you think
People
this
are
is a-
saying that?
Oh,
The
yeah.
funny one was like,
I had to think it was like to be funny,
Just to be
right?
yeah, but
show.
like it's funny when it's like Will Compton and Taylor Wan with Bustin' with the Boys,
Like
and
Guillermo.
Vrabel was their former coach. That's funny. Like,
Right.
hey, you know,
Right.
but then it's like the journalists who think they're being funny that have no like credibility. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
It's like,
put it to rest.
It's super hard as an interviewer. I don't think I'm that great. I got to work on that. Like we get post game interviews at the end of the game, and I don't want to be like everybody else to say the same stuff or how do you feel? It's like, but I don't have the answer actually to be like, hey, what's a better way to do? I know you got to use who, what, why, where,
Yeah.
when, how, those things. Not.
Yeah.
Do you think this is good or bad? They could easily just be like yes or no. You know what I'm saying? So no yes or no questions, no double-barreled questions. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I'm thrilled that I'm not a full-time, reporter because I don't think it's easy.
I remember one question like so vividly because I'm sitting at the podium and it's Cooper Cup, and this guy asks Cooper
yeah.
Cup, he's like, "Coop, what do you think is better, Chinese food or like?" It was so odd.
Sushi.
Yeah.
It was
And
sushi.
Cooper Cup is like, "What?" Yeah, like, he's sitting there like, first of all, this is nothing to do with football. Second,
Yeah.
second, you're asking me to compare sushi and like Chinese food. This doesn't even.
He's
make
just
any sense.
messing
So he
around. Yeah,
literally
you
just-
want to be like
He
that.
took that question and he like roasted this dude. He's like,
It was funny.
He told his wife, he's like, I'm gonna tell my wife about this later. Like, this guy's
Oh,
asking about
that's great.
sushi versus Chinese food. I'm like, why would you think to ask that question?
It's just like people are just trying too hard at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah. I'll do sushi.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gets to a point on the podiums where it's like they're almost out of questions.
Right.
You think and
Right.
it's just like that's what you ask.
Yeah.
You're better off just going and writing a story or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Great experience for you guys. That's awesome.
Oh yeah.
It was
That
so
is.
cool.
It was great. Well, we're approaching the end of the hour.
I
here.
know,
Thank
yeah.
you so much.
Oh
for
man,
coming
this
on.
has been great. I've had a lot of fun with you guys. I think this is super fun. I mean, this is how I got it started. I mean, this is where you get it going. You know what I mean? And it's like to be able to just to have a nice conversation like this that's pretty cool.
Is there anything you want to plug really quick for YouTube or for the radio, maybe that you're up to?
No, I mean that's about it. I mean, I slow down a little bit in the summer time. I do a little bit of lacrosse, which is fun in the spring. But I teach a class at the University of Delaware. A little bit of public speaking, as you guys saw today. The documentary that we're working on, and then the broadcast. It'll be football season, before you know it.
Love it.
But
Can't
yeah, I
wait.
think that to do multiple things is good. I think, like I said, try to do less better. I had a few more things I was doing, and I cut them off. I'm like, no, this is too much right now. And the 4 things that I just mentioned here, that's enough. So I'm trying to be, better at all those things. But yeah, and summertime is gonna be great to enjoy time with family and daughter and all that stuff. So it's gonna be good.
Well, thank you so much. I'm Austin Townley here with WSBU 88.3 FM The Buzz. This is Mike Corey. Have a great day, everybody.
Nice.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
That
That was
awesome.
great.
Awesome. Yeah, you guys got it. That was great. That was fun.